This is Jeff, your Kiva Fellow in the field today. I'm at the Velo Waterfall in Ucayali, Peru. It is gorgeous! We got a great question today. Let's have at it.
Hello, my name's McKenna. Where's Peru?
Sweet question. In order to answer, we're going to have to talk about geography today, right? And when I say geography, we're going to talk about the equator, lines of latitude, longitude, and we'll also talk about the continent of South America and a few different regions here in Peru, okay? First off, the equator.
The Earth's equator is an imaginary line around the Earth that is equal distance from the North and the South Pole. The equator divides the northern and the southern hemisphere. Now it's important to remember that the Earth is on an axis, or on an angle in space, so that when the sun shines on the Earth, one hemisphere receives more sunlight or heat than the other.
Now, as we move away from the equator, we have lines of latitude that circle around the Earth that help us specify north and south position. There are 5 main lines of latitude that run parallel to the equator. Lines of longitude run from the North Pole to the South Pole and specify an east and west position for us. Now here's how I remember the difference between the two. I like to think of a ladder in the garage. In the same way that lines of latitude run horizontal, if I leave the ladder right where it's at, it'll stay sideways, horizontal. Now if I need to go stretch up to the roof, I have to stand it upright, up and down, right? In order to make it long. So if I want lines of longitude, I'm gonna have to stretch that ladder up and down. Sideways, latitude. Up and down, longitude. Now let's talk about some different countries in South America.
The continent of South America is composed of 14 countries. Moving clockwise, we have Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, French Guiana, Suriname, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, and Peru.
Now let's break down some of the different regions here in Peru.
Generally speaking, Peru can be broken into 3 main regions. Costa, the desert coast, Sierra, the rugged mountain range, and Selva, or Amazonian rainforest region.
Right now, I'm in the Amazonia region. The climate is tropical, super hot, and super different than the rest of Peru. There's a bunch of different wildlife here in the Amazon region. For instance, yesterday I went to this big lagoon where apparently there were piranhas, alligators, and anacondas. I'm pretty sure it's not connected with this river. Let's hope. The Sierras in the south of Peru are a completely different climate. It's colder, it's drier, and suitable for different kinds of animals and plant life. The mountains are a little tough to see, but they're huge, and they're full of snow, and it's freezing cold here. It's a completely different world. And beyond the Sierras, we have the Andes mountain range. The Andes run almost the entirety of South America. In the same way that the Rocky Mountains stretch the west coast of the United States, the Andes Mountains stretch alongside the west coast of South America. Behind me, you can see the peak of Mount Salcantay, one of the highest peaks in Peru. And as we move further south away from the equator, the weather gets chillier, and even more so as we climb higher and higher in altitude, where the air has less oxygen, and it makes it even harder to breathe. But the views are spectacular. La Costa is a thin, arid strip of desert that stretches the entire coast of Peru. It is bone dry. See, weather in South America moves from east to west, and as the precipitation reaches the Andes Mountains, all the moisture is left as snow in the mountain peaks, leaving very little moisture or rain in the desert here when you get to the coast of Peru. What's remarkable about the Costa is that archaeologists have found that this was a cradle for many civilizations thousands of years, even before the Incas. So I'm Jeff, your Kiva Fellow in the field, and I hope that today we were able to learn a little bit about the geography of Peru. You keep those questions coming and we'll keep learning together. Que Dios te bendiga. Hasta luego.
Just imagine what the world would be. Follow me. Let's imagine what we all would see. I believe you. Just believe in me. Follow me. We can see if we dream. Just imagine with me.
I call that my get warm dance.